In this video, I'm going to review the Gemini cryptocurrency exchange and give you a brief tutorial so that you can see exactly how to get started trading crypto on Gemini. Now, bottom line up front, if you just came for the conclusion, I think that Gemini is a solid crypto exchange. It has something to offer both beginners and intermediate traders, and it also has reasonable prices. Now, if you want to see the in-depth review and the step-by-step tutorial on how to actually make trades in the app, then stick around. Okay, let's start by talking about the fees on Gemini. Now, for starters, there's no fee to deposit money or cryptocurrency onto the platform unless you're using PayPal, which I believe charges something like a 2% or a 2.5% fee to make deposits through PayPal. Otherwise, you're not gonna have to pay anything to Gemini to send money or crypto to their platform. If your bank charges you a wire transfer fee, you may have to do that, but there's also other types of transfers that you can do completely for free. Now, when it comes to the trading fees, this is a tale of two different worlds because there's different fees depending on what you're doing. Now, as you can see on the Gemini website here, the web fee schedule and actually the mobile fee schedule are very similar. And so, for example, if you're trading a small amount, something like $10 of cryptocurrency in one transaction, they're going to charge you 99 cents for that trade, which is a crazy high 10% of the volume. As the amount goes up, the percentage of what the fees are goes down. And even if you're trading over $200 per transaction, the fee is still 1.5% of the order value, which I think is pretty high. But there's a way to get around these fees because I don't recommend using their basic trader or the mobile app for trading. What I recommend using is the active trader feature because here the fees are significantly less. For example, anywhere from $0 to $10,000 in trade is going to cost you somewhere between 0.4% and 0.2%, depending on whether you're placing a market order or a limit order. And so those fees are very reasonable. I think paying a fraction of 1% to make a trade is great, and the higher the volume, the lower the fees, although there's not many people that are gonna be trading $5 million per transaction. So I don't think you have to worry about that. So the key takeaway from the fees here is that the mobile and the basic web fees are quite high, and if you do trade on Gemini, I recommend using the active trader feature. It's not actually that complicated, although it might sound a little bit more complex. I'll show you exactly how you can use it in a couple minutes. Okay, next up is security. Is Gemini a safe cryptocurrency exchange? And is it somewhere that you should trust your money? Well, in my opinion, security is a pretty big check mark for Gemini. It's definitely much more secure than many of the other cryptocurrency exchanges out there, especially the ones that are hosted overseas. For example, something like Binance. Gemini is really foundationally built upon the idea of trust and security. Their whole shtick is the fact that they want to be one of the most secure crypto platforms out there, and they have a number of state-of-the-art cryptocurrency controls and features. So for example, they have multi-sigs, they have cold storage assets, they do background checks on all their employees, and realistically, I would say that they're a solid bet in the security department. Gemini has never been hacked, and they also have a strong focus on compliance to make sure that they're in line with the different crypto regulations in the US. Which is very important because of all the different crypto exchanges out there, I would say Gemini is one of the ones that's least likely to be, for example, shut down by the US government. All right, next up, let's talk about user experience. And I'm gonna break this category into the pros and the cons because there definitely are some cons that we have to talk about. But in terms of the pros, first of all, Gemini is available in over 60 countries, including, North America, the US, Canada, Mexico, and a variety of other countries all around the world. Now, one of the great features of Gemini, especially if you're a beginner to cryptocurrency, is that they created this app called Cryptopedia, where they have all kinds of different information that's going to help you learn what you need to know in order to be successful in terms of trading cryptocurrency. Now, when we're talking about the Gemini platform itself, the website has a simple and clean aesthetic where you can look at, what assets are trending, and you can track the price movements over time. It has a nice look and feel to it, and it's pretty simple. Now, you can make trades directly on the web app like this, but like I said earlier, this is where there's going to be those higher fees. So if you wanted to buy Bitcoin, for example, right here in the basic web app, then you would have to spend, depending on how much you're buying, somewhere between 10% and 1.5% of the transaction in fees. But we don't want to do that. We want to spend the 0.2% fees by using the active trader platform. So to access the active trader platform, what you do is you hit on the account tab here, and you can toggle between the Gemini Basic and the active trader platform here. Now, once you select active trader, a screen like this is going to pop up. There's basic tutorials if you need them, but this is the order book. So you can see all of the buy orders and sell orders that are being placed right now in the Gemini order books. And these candlesticks indicate, the price movements of the chart. Green candle indicates buying and a red candle indicates selling. Now, I know that this looks quite complicated, but it's actually very simple to use, and I'll walk you through exactly how in a second. But yes, I would say overall it is a solid platform. And one of the other major pros about Gemini is that they also have a crypto rewards credit card, which is a MasterCard. Now, if you want to do your daily spending using a MasterCard, but getting rewards of, cash back in the cryptocurrency of your choice, up to 3% on dining, 2% on groceries, and 1% on everything, then you could sign up for the Gemini MasterCard and get those rewards in crypto. So I think that's a pro, the fact that they offer that feature. However, there are some cons to the Gemini trading platform. So for example, the fact that they're so big on compliance means that they don't offer as many cryptocurrencies for trading as some of the other exchanges out there. For example, Binance, where you could trade thousands. When it comes to Gemini, we're talking about over 100, but not the vast selection of all the different cryptocurrencies that are out there. And that's because they're trying to avoid getting into any regulatory issues with the US government. Now, another con of the Gemini platform is that unfortunately they had this earn product where you could earn a yield on your crypto assets because Gemini would lend them to someone else that would then do stuff with them. However, DCG, which is the company that Gemini was lending customer funds to, has had some financial difficulties and I believe is undergoing a bankruptcy procedure. And so the Gemini customers that signed up for the Earn program have struggled to get their funds out. Now, that was an opt-in program. Nobody needs to do it, and it doesn't impact any of the basic trading functionalities on the app. So I definitely don't recommend that feature. All right, now let's walk through a basic tutorial of how to get started funding an account and trading on Gemini. So the top right-hand corner here, you'll see this button that says transfer. Here you can choose to either deposit into Gemini or withdraw from Gemini, and there's different currencies. You can do that in fiat or you can do that in crypto. So like I said, I want to send some Ethereum to Gemini. And so what you can do is send Ethereum or Bitcoin or any of these other cryptocurrencies to yourself to fund your account, and then you can start trading with that. Otherwise, you can do that with fiat currency, but I'm not going to do that right now because it takes a couple of extra steps. So funding it with cryptocurrency to trade is actually, in my opinion, the easiest and fastest way. Now, once you have funded your account, and you can see I have about $60 worth of Ethereum here that I can trade with, it's going to show up in your balances and history. Now, just for the purposes of this tutorial, I'll show you what this looks like on the Gemini simple web app, although I don't recommend actually trading here because, again, the fees are going to be too high. They do have this very convenient buy and sell section here where you can make a trade, but don't fall for that trap. Don't do it, because I'm going to show you exactly how you can trade using their active trader feature and save a ton of money. There are some useful features here though. For example, you can add cryptocurrencies to your watch list. So then they'll show up right here on the home page when you want to check out what's happening. And then they have some of these basic learning and tutorial pieces down here at the bottom. Now let's go back over to the active trader platform and I'll show you how you can actually make trades using Gemini. So it does look kind of complicated, but it's actually very simple. On the right-hand side here, you have the order book. These are all of the buy orders and all of the sell orders. So right now, I'm on the Bitcoin USD trading pair. And this button right here in the top left-hand corner is where you select the crypto pair that you want to trade. So you can trade from Bitcoin to US dollars, but you can also trade directly from Ethereum to Bitcoin and back and forth. So there's different ways that you can trade these markets. You don't necessarily have to go from ETH to USD and then USD to something else. You can trade directly between different pairs. And there's actually lots of different crypto pairs with Ethereum. You can see I can trade any of these different pairs. So let's say I was interested in trading Chainlink and Ethereum. Well, I could open up this here. Now, the order book is pretty dead. There's not many people trading this right now. Bitcoin USD has a very active order book. You can see there's constant movement here and there's a lot more action. So usually you want to pick a pair that has high liquidity to trade. ETH USD also has a pretty healthy active order book. You can see there's some relatively large orders. Here's an order that just came in for 314 ETH to purchase, and these are the sell orders. So that 314 ETH order was matched with a sell order for 314. Okay, now getting to the actual nitty gritty of it. If I wanted to cash out from Ethereum to US dollars, what would I do? Well, it's quite simple. Here, I could hit the sell button. I could choose what type of order I want to put. So market order is I just want to sell ETH at the current market price. Limit order is I want to sell ETH at a specific price. So right now, the last traded price was 1,635 US dollars. So if I thought maybe it was going to go up to 1,645, then I could set that in as my limit price. I'm not going to get into any of these other orders because while they can be useful, they are a little bit more advanced, and this is a beginner tutorial. So market orders and limit orders are the two basic ones. Stop limit you can use where you set a trigger price that then triggers a limit order. But anyway, so I'm not going to get into that. I'm just going to use a market order because I know that a market order is going to go through immediately, which for the purposes of this tutorial is going to be the easiest. And then all I have to do is select how much ETH I want to sell. You can see this shows my balances right here in ETH and in USD. So I have 0.035 ETH. So if I wanted to sell 0.01 ETH, I could do that. And the fee for that transaction would be 7 cents. Now, just for interest's sake, if I open up my calculator here and do 7 cents divided by 16.35, that would be a 0.4% fee, which exactly lines up with what we knew it would be. And if I was trading on the basic Gemini account, that transaction would be something like 2.5% or something ridiculous. So then what you want to do is hit the sell button, and the order has been placed. Now down here, I can see my open orders, which if I had put a limit order, that would show up, and my order history. I made this trade, it's already gone through, and here you can see that the order was filled immediately because it was a market order. Now, let me show you how I would place a limit order. Let's say I wanted to sell Ethereum when the price got to 1,800 US dollars. Well, I could set limit order, select the price that I want to sell at, select how much ETH I want to sell, and I could also use these buttons here. So if I wanted to sell 50% of my ETH, I could hit that button there and then hit sell. Now this order shows up in my open orders. It's not going to go through because the price is currently $1,634 and I set my limit price to $1,800. But I could set a bunch of limit orders here. So let's say I wanted to sell my ETH, but I wasn't sure how high it was going to go. I could stack all my limit orders all the way up and spread it out that way. And the order will stay here in your open orders section until it gets filled, or you can cancel it. So there's a button down here that says cancel all open orders, or you can cancel it each individual order by hitting on that button right here. So yes, I'll cancel this order. So there you go. That is how you make the two basic types of trades, both market and limit trades on the Gemini Active Trader app. I know it looks a little bit complicated, but it's actually not that bad, especially once you get used to it. It's pretty simple, and I think everyone here can get the hang of it. Hopefully you found this video useful. Have yourself a great day.